Right here in this box, I have what I think is gonna be the greatest monitor controller ever made. Now I realize that that is a incredibly bold statement. I'm actually not sure of this. I anticipate this being the best monitor controller ever made, but we're gonna find out together. I'm gonna walk you through absolutely everything about this, about the setup of it, the features of it, and then towards the end of the video, I'll give you my final thoughts and any likes and dislikes. Now the reason why I think this is gonna be the best monitor controller I've ever used is because I really liked the Grace M905 monitor controller that I had and used for years. And I cannot recommend that monitor controller enough, truly. It's the best one I've ever used. But ever since I went Atmos, obviously a stereo monitor controller, it doesn't cut it. I need a different monitor controller. So Grace sent this over for me to test out. They're not paying me for this video. They do not get to see this video before it's posted, and they have no input on what I'm gonna say on this video, but they did send me this monitor controller. So I just wanna be perfectly transparent with you guys on that. This video is, however, brought to you by Sweetwater, and there will be an affiliate link of this and of the other Grace monitor controller in the description down below. So you can go check that out if you wanna see prices and more specs and whatnot. We'll talk more about that later. This is the Grace M908. I would just like to start off by showing you how it's packaged, because I've never seen another company package rack gear the way that Grace does it. So let's jump up top and look down and check this out. Grace M908 monitor controller. You open it up and the first thing you see is two boxes. And then in one box, you have all of your cables. And then in the other box, you have the actual controller and the power supply. This controller, first of all, they all come vacuum wrapped like this. Oh, look at that controller. Black out. Oh, so good looking. And check this out. So the rack piece is right in here, and it is in this suspension system that is, look at that floating around. This is like some sort of plastic rubbery thing that is like a little bit stretchy, and then the same thing on the bottom. So the whole thing is like suspended. It's like literally suspended in there. This is the greatest design I've ever seen anyone use for shipping rack gear. Knife in the pocket today, tactical pterodactyl raptor. Super awesome little sturdy tiny pocket fixed blade. So yes, we do need to cut all this. Oh, maybe we don't. Oh, dude, how awesome is that? This packaging is so good. So it's in the box folded up like this, right? So it's all shock mounted, won't go anywhere. As soon as you flip it open, see if I can do this without dropping it, it loosens everything up and the controller just slides right. Dude, Grace has the best packaging of any audio company ever. That's unreal. The same thing happened with this one. Yep. You just unfold it, and the thing that was, it looked like it was like shrink wrapped in there. Just, dude, that is so cool. Look at that beauty. I don't know if, can you hear that? They make the best stuff. So blacked out faceplate, which this is different than the 905 because the 905 had a silver faceplate. We've got a headphone jack on the front, and then on the back, we have got our outputs. We've got 1 through 8 and 9 through 16 here. We've got a couple extra outputs. We got a talkback output, a talkback input, and then we've got all our AES ins and outs, Ethernet, power supply, talkback switch, AES input, SPDIF input, optical input, USB input. We've got word clocks, so we can set this up to sync with word clocks with the interfaces. That's a thing of beauty. And then on the actual controller, on the remote that sits right next to you on the desk, we also have USB for upgrades here. We've got a headphone out, and the headphone out on the 905 that I used to have on the remote of the 905 was excellent. It was really good. Cable to connect the remote to the rack unit. So that is the basic overview. The other thing that I loved about my M905 that the M908 has is these hinges. They're so satisfying, they're so solid, and you can angle this to whatever you want, and then you just tighten it down and it just lives like that. Awesome. So for those of you that don't know yet, Josh is stock. Estock, Estock.
Estock.
It is Estock. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I should know that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sorry for being a douche.
You and everyone else.
Can you explain why you might not want to just copy and paste settings? And because for those of you that don't know, all the room tuning is on the Matrix Studio currently, but we have to move it to the Grace in order to test this monitor controller out. So there's a chance the curves don't match. Is that right?
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, I don't know when this changed or if it's a variation, but it seems that Q values, the slope of a filter, depending on the manufacturer, can vary a bit.
And we see this in plugins.
You see this in plugins a lot.
Like the Fab filter versus the Kirchhoff or whatever is not the same.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. You know, Q typically is, that number's come into being by measuring 3 dB down from the frequency point. But I don't know when that's changed. We want to rule out that error. So what we're going to do first and foremost is go through and generate some noise through the system, some pink noise through the system, and then actually look at the slope of a filter through an oscillator as we boost it, just to see how it matches. Hopefully the filters are the same, and then life becomes a lot easier.
We can just essentially copy and paste settings at that point.
Yeah, we do want to check on system health just in general, right? Speakers over time, you know, anything happens, these speakers aren't old or anything, but we just want to do like a touch up to make sure everything's good. But that's kind of like the difference between sort of coming in and retuning however many output profiles you have a lot.
Too many, probably.
A lot, yeah. And then, you know, redoing our levels and all our trims. But that's also a point too, is it's very possible that the output level and the output sensitivity of each converter is a little different. Shouldn't be.
But it could be.
But it could be.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're just
double checking all that.
Yeah, double checking all of it, making sure we're tidy. And
I'm going to put Josh's Instagram and website in the link down below because he's the man. And it's kind of crazy how many people have come in here and been like, this is the best room I've ever heard, which is partially due to Gavin Haverstick and the design of everything, but it's also has a lot to do with Josh's tuning.
More Gavin, for sure.
Well,
definitely.
Gavin's not here, so we're going to say it's more you. When Gavin's here, I'm going to say it's more Gavin.
There we go.
Okay, so we have got the software pulled up here for the Grace M908. So what we're doing is going Ethernet and USB from the Grace into my computer. And then via Ethernet, this gives you the ability to set up all of this stuff in your web browser. So that way you can just type in the IP address and then you can get access to set all this stuff up on your computer rather than typing it all into the actual, trying to scroll it all into the controller. So I've been using the Grace M908 for a couple weeks now, and I'm blown away, honestly. Which I expected to be blown away because the 905 was incredible in every single way imaginable, and this is like the 905 on like the ultimate cycle of steroids. Let's talk about sound quality first. Hey there, Colt from the future here. I'm editing this video and I realized that I didn't actually tell you guys how I had it configured. So, whoops, here we go. Okay, so two things. One, it comes set up for AES for stereo and for USB right from the factory. So you can run full 9.1.4, 9.1.6 right from the factory via USB. And it is plug and play. So literally plug the thing in via USB. I went to my speaker configurator in my Mac. Apple Music plays back in Atmos immediately. Unbelievable. However, because I'm running an HDX card with Pro Tools and I have an HDIO to run all of my hardware inserts and automatic delay compensation and zero latency when recording and all of that stuff, I needed to run it with the DigiLink card. So Grace makes a card specifically for HDX. You put the card in. I can't believe I didn't record actually putting it in, but you put the card inside the unit. It was very easy, very good instructions. And then you run a DigiLink cable right to the HDX card, and then it shows up as HDIO 1 and 2 in Pro Tools. So in Pro Tools now I have HDIO 1 and 2, which are the Grace, and then HDIO 3, which is my actual interface for running hardware inserts and for tracking and recording. This allows me to have zero latency monitoring for tracking alongside HDX, the low latency of HDX with the Grace, and still have all my automatic delay compensation with the HDX card for all my hardware inserts. But this also allows me to very easily switch back and forth between listening to Apple Music or anything on the OS, listening to anything on the OS, which is Apple Music, the Dolby Atmos renderer, the Dolby album assembler, anything like that, playing back from the Finder, anything like that is literally just a tap of the USB input. Now, I don't care about any sort of latency that USB might introduce because I'm never tracking in this case and I'm never using hardware in this case. And so then when I am tracking or using hardware, I just flip over to the DigiLink input and now I have super fast, basically zero latency on everything. There are a million different ways that you can configure this with different option cards, different inputs and outputs, digital input cards, analog input cards, output, like it's kind of crazy. So I think that for just about anyone, no matter what your setup is, or for no matter what needs that you have, there's a way to configure this that fits your setup perfectly, which again is incredible. I promise you Grace isn't telling me to say any of this. I promise you they're not going to see this video before it's posted, and I promise you they have no input on this. We didn't even have a discussion about what I was going to say in this video. It's just that impressive. Okay, back to the video. Let's talk about sound quality first. The first thing that I noticed, the very first thing that I noticed is the converters in it have to be just absolutely incredible because it sounds more natural. It's like smoother sounding, but it's faster sounding. And I don't really know if that's even a thing, but it feels faster to me. Like the transients, the speed of the transients, it just feels faster. I don't know what other words to use to describe it. The ease in which it is so flexible to set up is crazy. Like the fact that I just pull it up in my web browser and I have control over absolutely everything. I don't ever have to scroll through here to set anything up if I don't want to. You can set everything up from the controller, but it is just so simple to just do it all right on the web browser. It's kind of crazy. But I feel like we should talk pros and cons of this monitor controller, and then I'll get into how I actually have mine set up. Let's do pros first. The remote is incredible, which I expected it to be. The feel of the knobs, the feel of the buttons, just the overall vibe is just very premium when you touch it and when you interact with it. The customization is incredible. You can set preset volumes for startup. You can literally configure it in any way imaginable. The screen looks incredible. The headphone amps, both in the remote and in the rack unit, are incredible. The speed at which you can switch between stuff. I mean, we've got like Apple Music and the renderer, go right to Pro Tools. Oh, I'm in 914. Oh, I want to go to stereo. There we go. Oh, I want stereo but without the sub. There we go. Like it's so fast. The quantity of different inputs and outputs that you can have, I don't even have this thing anywhere near maxed out what it can do, but you can just have so many different inputs and different outputs for different things, different sources. The X feed is pretty cool. The fact that you can put a pair of headphones on and when you hit X feed, it passes some of the audio from the right ear into the left ear and some of the audio from the left ear into the right ear. And it really kind of makes you feel like you're listening to speakers. It's definitely a different experience than just listening to headphones. And if you had to work in headphones, great. I really like it when I'm tracking people because I can feel like I'm hearing a set of speakers rather than just a set of headphones. I feel like that's a feature that doesn't get enough love. I had it on my 905, loved it, love it again on the 908. Can we just take a second and appreciate black? Can we just appreciate the look of it for a second? I mean, obviously you guys know that like I'm a pretty big fan of all blacked out hardware, and the more black the better. Let's just be honest about it. The 905 looked great, but it was silver. Black is better. But another huge pro is just the ease of setup, being able to bounce through all of these different things, how customizable it is, and how simple it is to just hook up an Ethernet cable to your computer and just access everything. No software to install, no apps to install. God, I'm so tired of installing apps for every single digitally controlled thing. Well done, Grace, for not making me download another app. Okay, let's talk cons. The first con that I have is the cable. I don't know if you can see it here. I'll throw some B-roll up. The cable does stick up a little bit, and when you have it fully elevated like this, it's a little cumbersome. I wish that the remote cable could have been off to the side, or if there's a way to like right angle it in some way. It's a really minor nitpick, but it is something that I wish was slightly different. Another small con is the down mix, not being able to go like down mix from 914 down to 2.1 or something. I wish there was a few more options for down mixes, or 2.0 direct. I wish there was a few more options for down mixes built into the monitor controller to just quickly check. However, I would probably still rely on the renderer to check my actual down mixes anyway. So not the end of the world, but would be nice if there was a couple more down mix options. But again, you can just do it all from the renderer. It's probably the better way to do it anyway. Another con is just that the clocking system isn't super intuitive. Grace was incredibly responsive to my emails in terms of like, hey, I'm having some clock noise here. I can't figure out how to sync this to my whole rig. What's the best way to hook this up? Their response time was shockingly fast, and they told me in 2 emails flat exactly how to hook it up, and it solved all of my problems. So a little bit complicated on the word clock thing. Massive kudos to Grace for their customer support and how quickly they responded, telling me exactly what to do. The last con is probably the price. Now, it does depend on how you have it configured, so I'll put links in the description down below. Go check it out. It is an expensive piece of gear. Now, I think it's very much worth it because the remote is incredible. Sonically, it's incredible. The ease of use and the configurability is incredible. Like, it's basically a home run in every single way. So I don't really see the price as a con other than having to pay for it, but I do absolutely think it's worth the money, especially when you look at what other options there are that actually competes with this, which is not much. Let's dive down and let me show you how I actually have mine configured and how I'm using it. Okay, now I'm not scratching the surface of what all this thing can do, but I'm gonna walk you through how I'm using it. So down here, you've got all of your different input sources, and you can literally just tap the button to go between them. The only 2 I'm using is 914 USB and 914 DigiLink. So this is anything that's coming through the OS, Apple Music, the renderer, anything like that. And this is anything that's coming from Pro Tools. Now I have got this set up to power up at 50, because you can change whatever volume you want everything to power up at. It's defaults. So that's what I've done. To switch back and forth between the monitors and the headphones, you literally just tap it, and now you can adjust the headphone mix as well, and back to the monitors. Now you've got your whole system mute right here, so that mutes absolutely everything. Your talk back, you've got your dim switch, which you can configure how much of a dim you want it to have. And then if you hold this, then you get your X feed. So that way now you're getting your X feed in your headphones. You can see that little cross, that little X comes on the headphones right down here when you've held that on. You have got mono, and then if you hold this, then it flips over to, and it's flashing, then it flips over to being just listening to the sides. You've got a monitor Q here, so if you want to send your actual monitor feed to your headphone mix, you can do that. And there's separate Q outputs in the back of it, so if you want to run a whole dedicated separate output, which is what I will likely do, but I usually want my monitor to feed the Q. Now your setup is just this, and then it gives you instructions on what to tap, so that way you can figure anything out. So for instance, if we want to go to the headphone monitor setup, you hold the encoder, and then you go in here, and then you can control and change all of this stuff. If you want to go into the system settings, you hold mute, and then you can get into all of the system settings right here. And in the system settings, this is where you'll find your IP address here, which is what you just type into your web browser, http:// that IP address, and then it brings up your whole thing in your web browser. So that way you can set everything up in the web browser if that's what you'd like to do. Now you've got your 3 control rooms here. How I have it set up is I've got control room 1 is 914. This is my full Atmos setup. Control room 2 is my 2.1 for stereo, but party mode, as you can see, 2.1 party right here. Now in this mode, I've just got the subwoofer juiced quite a bit when clients are in and I want them to really, really feel it. This is a great way to do it. And then control room 3 is my flat profile. So it's still a 2.1 setup, but it is flat. The subs are not juiced whatsoever. This is what I use a lot when mastering. But then since I have focus mode on my Focal Trios, one of the things that I do is I have custom set this A to bypass all my bass management. So as soon as I hit that, then it bypasses all the subwoofer and runs the mains full range. So if I just want to listen to the speakers without subs, I can hit this, or if I want to engage focus mode on the Focals, then I can hit that and then hit the foot switch and have that as well. So in doing this, I really have like 4 different setups on the monitor, 5 with the foot switch for my Focals. Now you can set these other custom buttons to whatever you want, down mixes or talkbacks or literally anything else. I'm currently not using these. I may find a use for them in the future. And then all of these buttons are your solo buttons for your Atmos. So if I hit this, now I'm only listening to the left. If I hit this, I'm only listening to the left and right. If I hit this, then I'm only listening to the left, right, and sub, plus the right side, plus the left side. You get the idea. Now, if I hold this down, this becomes a mute. So now all of these turn red, and now I'm muting any of these speakers that I want to just mute. So you can change it from solo to mute just that easy. And this is really, really cool for selecting what speakers. If you've ever spent time in an Atmos room, it's really fun to like listen, what exactly is coming out of the left side? Oh, I don't want to mute the left side. I want to solo the left side. Now I'm just listening to the left side. Again, I realize I'm not scratching the surface of what this monitor controller can do, but this is how I'm using it. I couldn't really ask for more. This is perfect. So is it actually the best monitor controller ever made? Yeah, I think it probably is. I don't think there's another option out there that has the ease of use, the flexibility, the incredible sonic quality, and just the feeling of it being so premium. I can't overstate to you how good these knobs feel. If it fits your use case, if it does everything that you need a monitor controller and a room tuning system to do, I think it's probably the best thing out there. I will, of course, put links to this in the description down below. I will also put links to the Grace M905 down below, which I highly, highly recommend if you're looking for a more traditional monitor controller, but still at this level of quality and premium, along with links to every other piece of gear that I own. Those links, of course, go to Sweetwater. I very, very much appreciate Sweetwater sponsoring this video. So anytime you guys need any piece of gear whatsoever, you can jump on any one of my videos. Once you're on the video, click on any link in the description down below. Once you're on the site, you can purchase anything you need. It costs you nothing extra, but it goes a long ways to help me keep making videos, trying to help people show off gear and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video, and a huge thanks to you guys for using those links anytime you need to purchase anything. And if you have made it this far into the video, I appreciate you. You are the real MVP. But if you have made it this far and you've not subscribed yet, I feel like I've earned your subscription. So drop me a sub, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment and let me know your thoughts about this. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.